Okay, so I'm Elad. I'm the CEO of q.Datum, Data Exchange. So data is the oil of the digital world. So we decided basically to build a platform that allows organizations, machines, and individuals to exchange data either freely or for pay. We basically built an eBay for trading data. Where's the remote? How does this work? So is this working? Okay, so big data is growing exponentially over time, mostly stored inside organizations. About 85% of the data produced globally is inside organizations. And actually the data is locked internally inside those organizations, which do not share that data with other organizations, which could use it and would actually pay to use it, but it's locked there. That gap between the data which is produced and available and basically the data which is utilized means that about 97% of all available data which has potential use is actually underutilized. That's a waste. Our solution basically is a data exchange that allows any data producer to upload the data to the platform, set the price, set the privacy and the security terms, set who can access the data and from where. So if you don't want your competitors to access the data, that's fine. You just set it on the terms. We make that data searchable on the platform. We make it accessible, and we solve the integration issues that a lot of the organizations usually have. A data consumer looking for data can come to the platform, find data it needs from free or paid sources, pay for the data, download, and use the data. It's that simple. Use cases? Let's see one. Deutsche Post is currently selling German company's details, 1,600 euros for anybody who wants to buy that data. It's currently selling, for example, to eBay advertising in Germany. Let's say Deutsche Post wants to go to a more global reach. So Deutsche Post would upload that data into the platform. It would set a price. As we can see, it's 1,600 euros. Set the privacy, the security level, who can access the data, from where. Maybe you want only German companies to access the data, and you don't want a competitor from another place in the world to access the data. That's fine. It's up to you. You're the trader. You're controlling. We make it accessible. We make it searchable. eBay needs that data to optimize its advertising operations. It buys the access to the data, downloads the data, probably in stream format because it needs updates, and that's okay. We take a commission, the same as eBay does, and we make a profit. Next use case, think about the Charité, a genomic research lab, producing 10 terabytes of data a day. They're not going to move that data physically. That's a bit old-fashioned. They can sell that data to Sanofi, which is looking to produce a new drug to cure cancer. Sanofi is dying to produce a competitive edge. They'll pay a premium to get that data. We'll, again, take a commission on that data, and everybody's happy. Prices of data. MIT says that organizations using more better data outperform their competitors by being 4% more productive and 6% more profitable. Those are considerable numbers you want to take into account. So actually you want to buy data to use it today, and you can sell data you have to other organizations which would pay you money to use it. Nielsen and Bloomberg are doing it. You can do it. There's not much difference. We're living in a digital era. So take these numbers, put them in your revenue stream, pull your profit line up. It's that simple. Market. We're talking about the global data market with an annual increase of 23%. For example, market value for end consumer data in the EU and the US in 2020 will reach $776 billion. That's a big market. When we include non-consumer facing industries, think about Internet of Things. That's a lot of data. That is a lot of data. It's commercialized. We're talking about several trillions of dollars in market value. Go to market, we're currently looking for pilot projects in Germany, later on launching in the rest of Europe and in the US, naturally. We're focusing on setting up a network of research organizations which would share, exchange data between them, later on opening it for commercial access. Remember the Charité example? This is just a follow-up on that. Talking with several companies who have interest in the service. We do direct sales, and later on using local reps in foreign countries to push the service. Finance, we expect to break even after 16 operational months, having a monthly income of 500,000 euros after 2 operational years. We're currently raising 200,000 euros in different coupon sizes to get there. Status, we're in beta product. We have a beta product that Itamar, my co-founder, will present shortly. We're looking to talk with strategic investors, especially specialized investors, and also, of course, initial clients from specific industries, telecommunications, finance, healthcare, research, marketing. Come to talk to us. We'll be happy to talk. Itamar, my CTO, already built several companies in the space, specializing databases, security, and online marketing. 2 successful exits. I'm coming with a background of business development and already founded 1 tech company, so we're a very balanced team. We click and tick very well. There are existing approaches, you would call them competition. None of them is actually covering the full range of the criteria we mentioned here. q.Datum is giving you exactly that. It's open, everybody can play in this market. It's global, that's the core issue here. We cover the full range of data transactions. It's machine to machine, it's person to business, it's business to business. There's no difference anymore. We make sure that the data you get is going over a quality assurance process, and we're working cross-industry. All these silos of marketing, we're moving a bit forward beyond that. So I'm passing the stick to Itamar, who will show you a couple of screenshots. Thank you.
All right. This green one, this green one.
Yeah,
there's a lot of green on it. The big one. All right. So just a generic example. The resolution is a bit weird. So you create a feed. You can create a feed from a sample of a data set. You can upload. The system will try to figure out what you actually trying to upload, the different prototypes, the hashing, pseudonymization, or if you want to do end-to-end encryption, stuff like that. Once you create it, that's just the list. You set up privacy, security. You can, for example, if you want to set different pricing for different subset of the data set, you can set it here. Different privacy setting. If you want to sell pseudo-anonymized, only limited in Germany, or you have some aggregate of the information, you want to sell it worldwide for a different price, you can set it in different tabs. The client comes, browse, finds what he wants, applies, or automatically approved if it's free data or data that doesn't require a lot of approval. Then just pulls it. You can pull it in a lot of different formats, from direct API to all generic formats, and we only have also a push interface, so you can register for events if you really need it fast at the moment that it comes available. All of the system is one big API. Basically, this interface too is just front end we built to demonstrate the API. We want to keep ourselves really on the level of a protocol available to everyone on the internet, rather than a monolithic large website where people sign up and do all those procedures. We'd rather be used as a sort of an infrastructure where we can externalize data sets from different databases for different clients. Comprehensive enough?
Thank you, Itamar. Yes, so q.Datum is where the big data industry will be in 2020, where different business entities exchange large amounts of big data in an open and efficient way. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And once again, up to the jury.
No.
Well, thank you very much. What I really like about this startup is the scope. I mean, it's not like we're solving something within Germany or something, or within one industry, but we're doing it globally and across all industries. I think that's very refreshing to have somebody who wants to change the world there within a couple of years. As you know, I'm kind of, I totally like the idea. I'm very hesitant whether the industries that sit on all those amounts of data will actually move as fast as you want. How are your talks with prospective clients about that?
Well, it's a very good point. Actually, right now we're looking for that sweet spot. That's why we, in the go-to-market strategy, are looking to use existing organizational networks. Think about Axel Springer, which has a couple of hundreds of companies around the world. That's decentralized. They need to unify it. They can externalize the data. The academic network. They're producing tons of data. That's an existing network of organizations looking for a solution to be able to exchange that data and later on maybe monetize it. Think about Max Planck, other institutions producing extremely valuable information, Fraunhofer Institute. If companies like Sanofi will start buying access to that research data, which is extremely valuable for their competitive edge nowadays, with a bloody competition, that will solve their problem. So approaching existing organizational networks that need this as a solution.
Okay. I have a pretty technical question, if it's okay. So having data from third parties and so on is fine, has a lot of value. I'm totally convinced. Surprise. Yeah. But usually the real value comes into play when you really can link the data sets, right? So if Charité provides a data set where the Sanofi can link that to demographics or any other data sources, that really starts to bring real value. Usually, especially for someone like your company, who has no own data sources, but linking the data is a crucial one. And my technical question is, how are you approaching that? So if I, as Nugget, now want to buy data from an automotive website, for example, for their users, how can you help us so that the data can be linked?
I think I'll try maybe to rephrase the question for you in this case, that for your case, what you want to do is actually link it to your point of engagement with the user. So you have some arbitrary ID you create when a user comes, and now you want to try to link it back to other data. Basically supplement it with additional information, then you can put it in your decision system. It depends. What we can do in the piping is called affinity supplement. That means that we can tell you with certain probability that something belongs to a certain data set. It is not an integral part of what we're doing. We're trying to focus on feeding those large parts of information. However, there's a piping system that works on it. So if you come and you upload your data set and you can reflect that and say, I can say with 80% guarantee that this user comes from zip code X or zip code Y, and then you want to pipe it with another feed that has, for example, median income for that zip code, you can do that.
But are you aware of the server-to-server syncing infrastructure that currently is being established between, say, Google, for example, but many other companies as well? So how this and the ID syncing works in those cases? BlueKai, for example, is doing that.
What do you mean?
What I mean is that there is a specific process, an active ID syncing process in place, so that my ID, in our case it's a cookie ID, can be synced with the ID in Google's data set in a way that is privacy friendly, by the way, with hashing. I saw hashing in your interface as well.
Yeah,
and this is a very crucial, that's kind of state-of-the-art technology at the moment because just syncing some kind of data in is pointless in our case, for example, as long as we can't link it to the data that we have.
The way it's done right now, my previous role was building companies like AdsMarket, building the platform, so I'm quite familiar with it. How it's done right now, it's still very simple, piggyback pixels where you send to one cookie, and then you have a loss rate or fail rate, or you have a server-to-server integration, which you have to pull it and then push it, and most systems try to put their own IDs. It's really not high tech, and it hasn't changed for the last decade or so, and probably will not change that fast. I think the future of those systems is more affinity-related systems, because getting everybody to play along with a certain ID, besides the privacy issues concerning that, because you need a very, very high level of trust, because you're always dealing with granular, and pseudonymization is useless in this case, because reversing it to the actual user is trivial, because you have to provide the actual result of the hash and not the hash itself. So yeah, in that case, it could be approached. How it's part of that ecosystem, I think the core for advertising companies, for example, would be to supplement information based on their own data set. So you have a quick API, you upload that set, probably with an open stream into it, so you don't even have to waste time, especially in RTB system, to open and close the port, and you just keep asking those questions inside the API. And then you have this user probably has this income, this user probably goes to this store on this frequency, etc., and then you just integrate it to your RTB thingy.
Thank you.
Can you show me the competitor slide again?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Probably the red one now, right?
It needs to.
Don't push the red one.
Red is construction.
Sorry.
Okay, it doesn't matter. So I mean, there are some pretty big names up there. How do you plan to overcome the competition when you guys? It's basically a B2B play, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's my big question. How do you compete against companies that might not be as good as yours? Because you have the chart with the the X's and the red and the X and the green stuff. So what's your plan to compete against your competitors?
You want to start?
Well, I think a lot of it is the basic approach. Most of the solutions are extremely linked to a specific vertical, which that's what they serve. They serve processed and post-analytic information for verticals. It's not really as same as competitor. They don't do trade data, and the other, especially Azure, is very Microsoft-centric, and it's more trying to appeal to the notion that people trade data to put in an Excel sheet. We are trying to work with the assumption people have huge big data analytics system because just what big companies buy nowadays, and they need to feed more data to those. We're trying to approach machines. We're trying to feed mostly machines as an end goal, seeing as that actually to be the value of markers. More data at the raw level, less of the analytics, and serving it in very various APIs in a very stream format to feed those machines, basically. So if you see that,
we're there.
That's
Okay.
up there.
so except Azure and data market are really small.
Very, very small.
I think smaller than us. But Microsoft Azure is it's Microsoft, okay? Seriously, like they did it, they don't really progress anything with it, and the solution is just. It's not their main cause. They don't build it to do a market. They build it to push their cloud computing. You cannot be so affiliated with a certain solution if you're trying to be an agnostic solution.
Right.
They basically say that. I talked with the head of their business development in Germany, and they say this is a cost center for Microsoft, aimed to support the entire Azure platform.
Yeah.
So it's no.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
We have 1.5 minutes for questions, maybe also from the audience. Jury. Oh, and we have an audience question. So maybe we combine both.
Okay.
Jury to go first, and then audience.
Oh, I don't know. You talked a lot about scientific data, and you mentioned the Fraunhofer Institute and so on. And at the same time, you said privacy is not a problem, competitors is not a problem. And it's okay, like you say that. But if we come back to scientific data, I know they're really scared that the wrong persons could get that. For example, they want to exchange with a special other institute or something, but not with others. How can you furthermore convince them, me, that it is kind of safe? You're saying, it's safe, it's not a problem, but...
Yeah, obviously. Well, for the most concerned people, what we have is end-to-end encryption. We don't even have access to the key. So if the NSA or...
could you do me a little favor and speak a little bit slower? That would be really kind.
Entschuldigung. End-to-end encryption. What it does basically, they get a package when they produce their own private and public key, and they move that to the other side. And even if somebody comes to our data center, tells to get the data out, we cannot technically do it.
Yeah.
For other solutions, we allow different levels of hashing, pseudonymization, full anonymization, etc. It really depends on the interest of the client. So the amount of data they expose, we of course can limit who can get it, who can see it, who can even know they exist, etc. But we open it to the level that the client wants to expose. We don't tell them how to expose it.
Okay, and then one short other question about the competitors. You said, you don't, you can tell us who are your competitors, and then definitely they don't get it. So probably there's an algorithm around, or whatever.
Sorry, I missed the question.
If there's a secret algorithm.
Secret algorithm.
Secret sauce.
Okay.
Secret sauce.
Yeah, there is a mechanism. We wrote our own MapReduce, so it will be better for us, stuff like that. But the core of it is more of an understanding of what we actually aim for. And what we are aiming for is not people downloading a CSV. it's really a different approach with saying we want to feed terabytes of data to machine who know what to do with it. And that approach is crucial because it leads how we develop the entire thing and how we build it and how we try to approach it. That's the core of it. We're not looking at that side.
So it's a different attitude towards the exchange of data, to sum it up, somewhat Itamar set up, as well as a cross-industry perspective, which is not catered for today. So Blue Kai, which is a known name, they're marketing vertical. Factual as well. Sorry?
Unfortunately, I think our time is over. I think you misunderstood my question.
Okay, sorry.
Or my question was not good enough, for you to understand.
We share a fault.
Is it a very short question?
Maybe one short question. You mentioned Blue Kai as your maybe then biggest competitor. So Blue Kai is obviously a data broker. You call yourself more data exchange. It's a nice way to just give it another wording. But nevertheless, it's a data brokerage. And why do you start with this kind of service in Germany? I mean, you just choose the most difficult market you can choose. I mean, why Germany?
Intentionally. If you can do it in Germany, it's much easier to go anywhere else. And we have the right of putting the servers here, going to the commission officers of Berlin and talking about privacy and those issues and saying, okay, we are completely clean, completely clear, the most honest can be. It's harder, but the benefits are bigger.
Okay, but to raise money right at the beginning, you should maybe start somewhere else.
Well, I believe that actually clients are the most important or the real currency. So that's why we're focusing right now more on clientele building rather than the the fundraising. The second would come after the first. The product is there. We're working on business development. We are in touch with potential clients. And I really believe that it's more important to get the clients on board, and it's possible right now, then it's important to get the funds right now. The funds will come the moment the clients will come.
All right.
Just a last line, I'm sorry. For example, we're talking with a group of organizations trying to solve the Ebola spread in West Africa right now. So you have a group of organizations like governments, telecommunication providers, NGOs, and whatnot, who are trying to solve the Ebola spread by working with the data. So we're, for example, working on helping them manage this entire process. And the opportunities are abundant. We'll just need to find that sweet spot to go in and scale.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.